Welcome back to another episode of
Tell Me Sis podcast, your two favorite hosts, Alex
and Kyla.
We just want to say a big thank you to everyone for the feedback on last week's episode. I know that we've had issues with our audio in the past, and we're still trying to figure it out. We're so new to this. It's just the two of us. We don't have a team, but I'm pretty sure we've kind of got it down pat now. Everyone said that it sounded really good, so fingers crossed it stays that way and we can just continue this way because it's nice. Before we get into the episode, let's just do a little life update.
Update. The last time we recorded wasn't even a week ago. So what's happened in the past few days? Honestly, not much. I went to work and the weather in Montreal is terrible.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. So it's a snowstorm today and I literally drove into a ditch. I didn't even tell you this. I was leaving my house and okay, so I don't even know how to explain this, but it's like 10 centimeters of snow and it's just constantly coming down. So even the snow plows, when they're coming to clear the streets, they don't come often enough for it to be cleared. And so I was backing out of my driveway and I was turning the corner, and I guess because it was slippery underneath the snow, I literally slid up and drove into the
oh my god
into the snowbank, which if you don't know what a snowbank is, if you're not from an area that has snow, it's basically all the snow that has been pushed off of the street onto like the yard. So it's a big mountain on the sides of the street. And I drove up onto it. I was able to back out, no problem, but I was just internally dying of laughter because I'm like, if Kyla was here right now, she'd be pissing her pants.
Oh my god. I mean, at least you're okay, but yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah, no, I wasn't even driving fast. It was like 30 kilometers an hour,
yeah,
slowish.
Yeah.
But
that's hilarious though. I'll never forget the time I lent one of my cousins my car because I was going to Europe for like a week or two. And I had my old car. It was like a little mini Mazda 2 hatchback. So I gave it to her for when I was away. And as she's backing out, it was like January. And she just backed out right into the snowbank. And my car was like literally like a 45-degree angle. And she just rolls down the window. She's like, Kyla!
Literally instantly.
In my head, I was like, oh no, I'm going to regret this.
So what was the consensus? Did she do a good job?
No, actually, she gave my car back to me like in better condition because her dad was like, oh, Kyla needs new windshield wipers.
Oh.
He helped fix my car up for me.
Nice. That's our uncle family. Okay, so I want to say one thing too. So when I was watching back our because I edit everything, so when I was editing our video, I realized my face when you're talking, I look like, I guess I have resting bitch face and I didn't even realize I have it because I'll go from talking like this to being like,
oh my god,
and
that's
I look
hilarious.
miserable, but I'm like, I don't remember feeling miserable. I remember being like so excited and happy during that episode, and when I wasn't talking, I was just like,
you know what? I noticed the same thing with me. Like as I was watching back the last episode, I didn't watch the whole thing, but I was like, you do most of the talking, and I need to speak more because I forget. Like I'm so in the moment when we record these podcasts, and it's like I'm just acting as if we're not even recording. And I'm the type of person where I like to talk, obviously, but I also really like to listen to people, especially when someone's like very articulate and good at like telling stories and whatever. I just like to listen and kind of just like observe and like analyze things. And then I was watching back the video and I was like, I'm just staring at you the entire time.
No, you
like,
spoke a lot, but I definitely think that you can say more. Yeah, because I mean, there's definitely people in life that you can tell they're waiting for you to finish talking so that they can talk. They're not actually listening to you. But I feel like you genuinely listen. And
sometimes.
No, Kyla, you really do listen. You're very observant. But I feel like sometimes you almost like question or second guess what you're going to say, even in real life. Because you're not someone that likes to offend people. You're not someone that likes to rock the boat. Yeah. So I feel like that's kind of carried over into just everyday life now. You just kind of like to listen, which is funny because we do a podcast where you need to talk.
Well, when I get comfortable with someone, I'll talk a lot. I could talk people's ears off, but I also really like listening.
Yeah, which is actually a really nice trait to have because there's not very many people that like to listen genuinely.
Especially when I'm really tired. Like, let's say I've had a really long day or like, you know, I have a full-time job. So like on the weekends when we record, it'll either be like a Saturday or a Sunday. And I'm like, exhausted. I'm like, I don't know. I have like
Zonked.
no energy. Or like on like the random occasions when we've filmed after I'm done work, like later on at the end of the day.
Like late evening.
And I'm like brain dead at that point.
Yeah. So we're trying to figure out a good schedule for us in order to be consistent and stay on top of things. We might even batch some episodes in the future. We want to have some guests on. We have a lot of fun plans for the podcast. I'm really excited about it. But you know, as for, you know, right now we're kind of just figuring things out and taking it day by day, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of fun though. I was talking to maybe I've already mentioned this to you before, but I was talking to mom about it not long ago, and I was like, this is like such a fun way to spend more time with you. And like you come to my condo, you know, in the past it was always me going to your place. So I was like, it's so much fun.
So this is how I see it. We get together to hang out and chat and like have girls' nights or whatever, even with our cousins or just the two of us. And I'm like, it's basically that, but we're just recording it and putting it on the internet now.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you guys are just enjoying being with us and hanging out with us as sisters, and we can be like your big sisters if you're younger than us, or
your best friends.
Yeah, your best friends. And I want you to feel safe that you can like message us or reach out to us, and we can either help, offer, give advice, or talk to you about whatever, you know, struggles you're going through. And that's why we really like doing the episodes where you guys write in stories, because I feel like
we're getting to know you guys.
Yeah, and it's always anonymous. So even if we might do like an advice segment one day, but you know, for now
we have a lot of really fun ideas.
Yeah,
actually there's a lot to come. This is just the beginning. What?
You're just cute. I just love you. This is just the beginning.
Like, this is just the beginning. You don't even know.
You don't even know.
Lauren, if you're watching this, do you even know?
I don't think Lauren's watching. Lauren, you better be watching.
I have an inside joke with my cousin who's like one of my best friends, and she was telling me a story one time, and as she was telling the story, she was like, yeah, and like they didn't even know, and like she didn't mean to say it with an accent, but she did. So I was like, oh, they didn't know? She's like, no, they don't know, and they're never gonna know.
And now every time they're together, that's all they say. It's actually really funny. Okay, well, a little, I guess, life update on my end. So it's not live yet, but it's going to be going live literally later today, which it'll already have been live by the time that you see or listen to this podcast. But I finally opened up a little bit on YouTube about my infertility struggle. I didn't go into detail, and I didn't like fully talk about like what Dan and I are doing or have done or whatever. It's just more like talking openly about what we have been going through in 2022, just because it was really, really hard. And I think I definitely want to make a whole video about it on my channel, but it's something that I was like in the past, like I was telling you, Kyla, like really nervous to talk about, because I said like as soon as I open it up on social media, it kind of like there's going to be people's opinions about it. No matter what I say, there will be. But 2023 is the year, like I said in last episode, that I don't care what people have to say. Like, this is my life and my decisions, and that's just the way it is. And, you know, I also do want to be transparent with things that I'm going through, because it was a year-long struggle, and I just was not open about it because I just was too insecure. I was feeling so upset, and it was just really hard. So now I'm like, we're still in the thick of it, and I'm just going to be open about like my struggles, because you know what? There's so many people that are in this situation, and I don't want anyone to ever feel like they're alone, or that they feel like they can't ever talk openly about something because they're scared of what people are going to think. Because, you know, at the end of the day, anything that people are going to say online, I got in real life already through either family or friends comments about.
What do you mean?
Well, like people being like, well, you have a child already, so like it's not a big deal. Like they don't take me as seriously because I already had a baby. Or they're like, oh, just stop trying, it'll happen. The more you try, the more it won't happen. Or go on vacation, stop stressing. Like I've heard it all. Or just adopt, you know, like all those things. It's like,
no shade to the people that have said that though.
No, it's not. I know it's always coming from a really good place, and that's what I had said in my video too. It people mean well. It's just like it's just very invalidating when it's a very hard thing to be going through, and you actually don't understand unless you've been in it. It's the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life, and I've connected actually behind the scenes with a lot of women, because I have been kind of open about it with people that have been DMing me. either followers or other women I've connected with through social media.
Yeah.
And it's been really helpful for me. And anyways, if you want to know more about it, you could definitely go watch my video on YouTube. But I think I'm going to start being like more transparent about that, because I just want to be like, hey guys, I'm having like a really, really crappy week right now. You know, this just happened, and I just like, I don't have the energy or the creativity to put into anything. Like, it just seems fake when I'm struggling so hard behind the scenes. And that's one of the main reasons as to why 2022 was like such a hard year for me. But yeah, I'm just very grateful that although there were comments from certain people, and like, I know they mean well, there was also so much support from my family and friends. And I'm very glad I was open about it, because I feel like I had that support from my close community of people being like, you know, Alex, like, I'm here for you if you ever need to talk, or like blah, 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 blah. And it was just really nice. And especially my sister, she's been like my rock. And I know.
Well, it's just like, it's hard for like, because I've never experienced this, right? So I don't know what to say. It's more just like,
you're there for me.
I'm there for you, and like I'll listen, and I'll like support the way that you feel, and like be as sympathetic as I can possibly be. But I've never tried to have kids before, so I don't know what it feels like to experience infertility. However, I do have this like strong, I don't want to say it, knock on wood, but like, I've never been pregnant before. Not that I wanted to ever be pregnant,
right,
but like, there's just a part of me where I'm like, could I even have kids? I don't know. Like, I know my mom, she has, what's it called? The uterus?
The same as me, septate uterus.
And I have a bicornuate uterus. So that just means that my uterus is like in the shape of a heart. And it doesn't mean that I can't get pregnant. Like, I had an ultrasound and everything. And the doctor told me, like, it doesn't mean that you can't get pregnant. It just means that you're at a higher risk of miscarriage.
Yeah, that's what
so
they
just
told
like,
me too.
Yeah, they just like monitor you more carefully when you are pregnant. But yeah, just like, I'm like, can I even get pregnant? I don't know. I could understand like 0.01% of what you're going through.
I just feel like in so much of our lives, I don't know if it's like this where you live, forever is watching or listening, but for us, we're taught so much about how to not get pregnant, like from a young age, which I think is important to talk about, you know, safe sex, especially when you're young and immature. And if you are having sex, you know, using protection, not just for getting pregnant, but also for STIs, things like that. I think it's very important, but we're not taught as women about our cycles, about how to get pregnant, about everything that goes into it. Like, when I got pregnant with Arkham, I wasn't on prenatals. Like, I wasn't doing anything, nothing. And this time I kind of did the same thing, trying for the second, and nothing happened. So then that's when I started doing my research and started talking to doctors and started literally learning about everything about just our cycles. And even if you're not trying to get pregnant, like, how much our cycles impact our daily lives, because we have different phases of our lunar cycles, and like, sometimes you feel really crappy, or like you're PMSing, or it's hard to work out because you have no energy, and it all is due to our hormones, and we're just not taught about that.
Yeah.
And I find that so weird that there's like certain life things that we're just meant to figure out, like women and our cycles, taxes, finances, all these things that I feel like should be taught to kids in high school.
Yeah.
You know, just even if it's like an elementary entry, whatever level of something, but it's taught so that we're aware of life things that you need to know when you get older. Like, I just find it weird that, or even like,
just people just don't talk about it,
exactly.
especially as a woman, when you're talking about like, you know, like all the different like mood swings that you could go through as a woman depending on your cycle.
Mm-hmm.
And like, just people don't talk about it really. And like, so you just feel like you're losing your mind, and you think that something's wrong with you, and then like you get your period and you're like, oh
yeah,
okay, like that explains a lot.
Yeah.
And like, some PMSs are like worse than others. Like, there's some months I don't PMS, but like, I'm so hungry for like the entire week before I get my period. All I want to do is eat. I don't get full. It's like I have 5 stomachs. And then there's other PMSs, like other months, where I'm not really like that hungry, but I feel like I'm having like one mental breakdown after another, like mentally unstable. And then I get it, and I'm like, oh, everything's back to normal. Like, the effect that PMS can have on your body and your mind.
Maybe that's what I'm saying. Maybe some people are taught this in school, but definitely not where we live. We had sex ed where you're taught all about safe sex and condoms and what sex is for, but you're not taught about, like, I just find it so wild.
Yeah.
We're kind of just like, figure it out.
And then we're called crazy.
Yeah, which is really frustrating there. And it's funny because literally right before your period, you're like, why am I feeling this way? This is so frustrating, blah, blah, blah.
And it happens every month.
And then you're like, but I should know that, like, my period's coming. And you know your period's coming, but in the moment, you're just like, life is so hard.
Oh my God.
And then you get your period and you're like, oh.
Oh my God.
It's just funny, but
good times.
Good times. So, you know, Dan and I are feeling much more hopeful for 2023. We're going into this month with a very positive mindset. Oh, I actually want to talk to you about one more thing. Also, why does your phone keep flashing? What is this? Oh, is this the
thing that I'm opening?
Okay.
Like, well, we're doing a fun, today's episode's going to be really fun. But before we get into that, what did you want to tell me?
I did acupuncture for the first time yesterday.
What is that?
You don't know what acupuncture is?
Is it when they stick like needles in you?
Yeah, they're like little tiny needles. It's not like an injection.
Okay, but what does it do?
Okay, so there's so much to do with acupuncture, guys. Like, I didn't know. I feel like you would benefit so much from acupuncture.
Really?
Because first of all, it also depends on who you're going to and what the reason is, whatever. But when I went yesterday, the main reason is for fertility for myself. But she also focused on like my energy, my like anxiety, my stress, my third eye. Like, she did all this stuff that was like, it sounds kind of, you know,
this is like spiritual stuff that I love.
But it's not even spiritual. It's literally, it makes so much sense. And this is why it's been in existence forever, and why a lot of fertility doctors recommend you also do acupuncture along with fertility treatments, because it helps in so many other aspects, not just fertility. It helps de-stress. And when I went in yesterday, I had to fill out this like long sheet, and there was other people in the waiting area, like older men, and they deal with diabetes, cancer, and like all these things that she literally will help you with based off of your exact situation. So I filled out the questionnaire, and then she kind of did a little interview with me. She asked about my situation. She asked about how well I sleep, my past. It was almost like a therapy session, like a very condensed therapy session prior to the actual treatment. And, you know, I said I was diagnosed with basically like unexplained infertility, second child unexplained infertility. And she kind of looked at me and she was like, well, I have to kind of disagree with the unexplained. And I was like, well, I spoke to literally so many doctors. And she goes, I understand there is like an actual thing called unexplained, but usually there is a root to it. Usually there's something that is blocking it subconsciously. So in my session, I kind of explained to her how, you know, I had a bit of a traumatic birth experience. And although I'm so happy with my son and everything like worked out okay, I think back to it and I'm like, although I wouldn't change anything because I made every decision to make sure that my son got into this world healthy and okay, and me as well, it was very traumatic just based off the whole circumstance. And she said there might be a part of you subconsciously that remembers that.
What was the traumatic experience? I don't remember this.
Well, the fact that I had to give birth during COVID, I had to switch hospitals last minute, the stress that I endured doing that, thinking that Dan wasn't going to be able to be with me at all, then Dan not even being able to be with me when I gave birth, having to do a cesarean, everyone being in hazmat suits.
I was thinking like traumatic as in like the actual birthing experience like was really painful. And,
no,
like,
it was just everything like mentally, and like also I did get like I had a really hard recovery process. I got infected. Like it was really, really hard for me to recover postpartum. So all of that, she's like, subconsciously your brain might be kind of like you're telling yourself, okay, I'm positive. I'm planting the seed that I'm going to get pregnant. And then your subconscious and anxiety comes along and goes, I'm just going to take that right out. And you don't even realize it because like there's a lot of, and it's not just that, there's a lot of other aspects that have to do with stress and everything that is, you're not even aware of stuff that goes on. Because I was telling her, I felt like even more stressed when I got pregnant with my first son. Like there was definitely more stressors in my life back then. And she's like, yeah, but it had nothing to do with pregnancy. Like you had never experienced birth. You had never experienced like going to term and like that whole trauma that you endured. And she goes, I'm not saying that's necessarily what it was, but there is an aspect to it. So she goes, my main thing is we're going to work on your fertility. And she's going based off of my cycle, based off of the treatments that we're going through. And then she was saying, and we're also going to de-stress you. She's like, we're going to get that scared, stressed anxiety out of you right now. And honestly, Kyla, it was such an amazing experience.
Really?
They're like these little needles. I thought in my head, I thought they were going to be like this
Yeah,
big.
because that's what you see in movies.
And they were like really small. And basically where she put them, she explained to me I had to lie on my stomach at first. And then she put one in like where my spleen and I think my kidney would be. And she was explaining the benefits of that. And then also on my heels, like my inner heel for my uterus. That's like the pressure points for that. And then I laid there for basically 20 minutes and she put this heating thing on me because I supposedly have a cold uterus. So I don't know. There's a whole thing to it. But Kyla, I'm telling you, you would love it.
I'm already sold.
Yeah. And you have to go see this girl too. She's amazing. And,
I'm doing it.
And so then after 20 minutes, she came in, she took out the thing. And it doesn't hurt, by the way, at all. You don't even feel them go in.
I'm not scared of needles.
Okay. But in case you are, like, it did not hurt me at all. And then I laid on my back and then she put like in my hands, my legs, my stomach, and then my third eye for my intuition. And she was like, oh, it went in really easily, meaning like you have good intuition.
Is that not what I said in the last episode?
I know. I was literally thinking that in my head. I'm like, Kyla told me I had good intuition, which is so funny. So you know what, Kyla? Maybe if I did see what is it that
clairvoyant?
Yeah, maybe I would be into it because I was this girl.
I mean, maybe we could do a session together. I heard there's a girl, she's virtual, and the session is quite expensive. It's like 100 and something for 1 hour.
Okay.
And you have to book in advance. Like we're probably gonna have to wait like weeks, maybe like a couple months to get our foot in the door with her. But I have been hearing like my friend who's very much into spirituality and like natural healing and just, you know, being connected with like the afterlife or, you know, just like kind of like she's very much like positive energy, like people come into your life for a reason, everything happens for a reason, and I love that about her. And and I was very much like you, like I was skeptic. Not spiritual, not into that stuff at all, didn't believe in psychics. I definitely think there's a lot of psychics out there that you have to be careful about. Like they're definitely just out there to grab your money, but then there's also psychics that are really good. And anyways, I really trust my friend when she recommends a psychic or a clairvoyant to me. And she said that she went to this woman and like she told me in depth like her experience, and I'm not going to repeat it because it's like her personal life, right. But I literally got chills. I think we should experience it together. Like she could do an hour for me and then an hour for you.
That's a lot. I feel like I'm so
You could
scared.
do 30 minutes if you want. It's more expensive.
Would I be there with you?
Yeah.
So why don't we just do an hour together?
Because it's not enough time. That's like 30 minutes each.
Okay.
I want to do an hour for myself.
Okay. I don't know. Would people be interested in seeing that?
30 minutes.
I don't even know. We can look into that for sure. People are interested.
I wasn't thinking about doing it for the podcast, but like we could talk about it.
Okay. Oh yeah. I like that idea better. Anyways, this is stuff we could talk about like off the podcast.
No, I think we should do it and then we can make a podcast episode about it.
I'm down.
And you could also say at the very beginning, listen, I'm very skeptical. I need to be honest with you. But I'm coming into this as open-minded as I can possibly be.
I know negativity.
And I don't want to hear anything negative. I only want to hear positive. And like, but she's not really like gonna tell you.
I don't know. I've heard horror stories. So like for me, I'm just like scared.
The freaking horror stories, man.
Like, but that's like anything in life. But anyways, I wanted to finish and tell you with the acupuncture, that the reason why I went to this girl in particular is because a girl that I recently connected with on social media who had struggled to get pregnant or to struggle to have her baby for 2 years, she went to go see this girl and got pregnant right away. And so she was like, I really highly think that this woman had a big impact on me getting pregnant. And so I was like, you know, even if it doesn't work, I feel like even going to just, you know, because it's meditation when you're lying there, you can't move. She leaves the room. There's just music playing. So, and she kind of tells you how to meditate, what to do with your breath and stuff. So even if it's only going to be taking away my stress and anxiety,
it's still a positive.
It's still a positive. And I'm like, that is so great. And then she came in at the end and she did this like little pressure point here. She like put it in and took it out right away. I forget the reasoning behind this one, but she said it can last like 2 days, and then I go back for another session, and then every time you go it lasts longer and longer. And I slept like a freaking baby last night. I slept 8 hours, and I have not slept 8 hours straight and God knows how long. Like I felt stoned but still had my reflexes.
Can you give me her contact info?
I absolutely loved her. So it is a bit on the pricey side. I don't know everyone's budgets, but you can go as often as you want.
How much is it?
So it was $95 for the first session, and then every session after that is $85.
Okay, I was expecting a lot more.
But like, because for example, for myself, like I have to go quite often if I'm, based off of my cycle. And she said too, like, you don't have to come. Like I have a plan in my head of like what I think works, but it's up to you and what you feel comfortable doing. They're all like, insurance does cover it too, certain people's insurance. So she gives you a paper and stuff if anyone is curious. I'll link her, the one I go to, I'll link her in the show notes if anyone is wanting to go see her in particular. But I was shocked. She's been doing this for 33 years. She told me that acupuncture with fertility ups your chances by 45%. And I don't know, I've just talked to so many women who have been struggling with infertility, and they've all gone to acupuncture and had really positive things to say about it.
I've never even like thought about doing acupuncture. I'm so interested now.
You're gonna love it, Kyla.
I actually have an appointment to see a nutritionist at the end of this month, and he's really good. People rave about this guy, and it's more than just like him asking about your diet and then like recommending foods. Like he'll literally like massage you, see if like your gut is swollen and like different parts of your body that's like tender, and he's like, oh, like this is connected to this, so it's like probably like what's your sleep cycle, like how's your mental health,
I love
what's your relationship, like you like
relationship
he goes
with food. Yeah,
exactly. And like he goes in depth, and I know like the girl that recommended him to me was like, I left there like bawling my eyes out because I felt like I just left a therapy session, and it was more than just like, what do you eat, okay, here's what I recommend for you to do. She's like, it was so much more than that, and like I did what he said, and it completely cured what I was experiencing.
Wow. We love that. That's so nice.
So I'm going to see him. I'm really excited. And without further ado,
should we get started?
Let's get started. Okay. So basically we're going to be doing like a sister quiz. Like how well do we know each other? So
how well
do we
actually know each other? I feel like I know you very well, but I might surprise myself. Maybe I don't know you as well as
I feel like I'm going to surprise you with how well I know you. I'm not going to read every single question. There's a lot. So as we're going through, I'll just kind of like filter out the ones that I don't think are really that interesting. Okay.
I haven't read these at all. So
it's just like a random link that I found on Google.
It's going to be fun.
So the first question is, what was your sibling's most prized childhood possession?
Oh, I know. 100%. Your pillowcase.
Yes. And yours is your 2 blankies.
Yeah. I still have them.
Really?
Yeah, they're in my closet. I actually put them in this little duffel bag to keep them safe. Okay, first of all, they don't even look like blankies. They look like little rats, like little raggedy rats. They're so disgusting. Cute. But they were my blankies from when I was a baby. And I want to eventually show Arky. Where's your pillowcase? You should probably tell them why you like.
We threw it out.
Oh.
Yeah, no, we threw it out.
Do you want to explain what that is? People are probably like, a pillowcase. What?
So basically, I just did this thing as a kid. We named it Moony Moony Munchkin. I don't know why. Moony for short. And I would just like take my pillowcase and like put it in between my fingers and like rub my fingers together because it was soft, and then like kind of like suck on my tongue at the same time.
Soothing. It was like a soothing.
It was like very soothing. And like there was actually a time in my life, like kind of recently, where I woke up in the middle of the night. I woke up in the middle of the night. I was doing Moony on my pillowcase.
Okay,
and I have this pillowcase now that like it's my favorite. I do Moony on it sometimes.
Wait, Kyla. What? So I was recently told Moony means something bad in a different language. I think it means like vagina or something. So the fact that like I was doing Moony on my pillowcase,
fucking dead.
I don't know 100%, but I'm pretty
masturbating.
Sure. I mean,
I was doing masturbating on my pillow.
A lot of people have said the stories of like girls humping their pillows, and I was like, I don't think I ever did that. I don't think I ever did that. But people were like
when they're sleeping or when they're awake?
No, like when you're a young kid and like you hump your pillow because it feels good. You don't know what it means. And I was like, I don't think I ever did that.
What did they want to be when they grew up? Silence. Crickets.
Like a movie star? A singer?
Oh my God.
Was I right?
Yeah.
Actually?
I just wanted to be famous.
Okay.
But like kind of like an actress. Like I looked at Miley Cyrus like she was the coolest person in the entire
Okay. I was thinking
world.
like when you were a child.
I mean, I was still quite young though.
Yeah, no, you were young with Miley Cyrus.
When I was really, really young, like really young.
A teacher?
No, I don't think that was something that like I thought about.
Just a blank slate.
Yeah, I was just like I was just playing Barbies. Maybe I wanted to be a Barbie.
I actually don't even think I know the answer to this question for myself.
I remember like the one thing that does come to mind, but I think that this was just you trying to like figure out what you wanted to do with your life, and you were much older. You were a teenager. Oh. Or in your early 20s. You said that you wanted to go into engineering at one point.
Oh, no, that was just to like take over dad's business. I wanted to be a therapist. I was like, yeah, I'll just take over his business and like make a lot of money. Like that was just like, and then I was like, wait, I can't do math, so I can't do this. I literally still don't know my times tables.
Meanwhile, our cousin Elu was like thriving and doing so well.
She's like actually taking over the business. She has a PhD. Like,
I hope they listen. Like the Bartoshes listen to this
literally
episode.
Never.
They're gonna die of laughter.
They would never. We actually want to have our cousin. We want to have some of our cousins on as guests. I think it would be really funny. But I wanted to be a therapist at one point, and then I was like, actually, I don't think I could be that because I'd get too emotionally invested and like it would ruin my life.
Yeah, I would just feel like drained. You know, you listen to people's problems all day long and it's just like really depressing.
Yeah. It must feel good though if you're helping people though.
Yeah, it's very rewarding, but like it's just a lot. It's very heavy. You have to you have to have like a lot of patience, and you have to be a really, really good listener. I feel like I would be a good therapist.
I was just going to say that. Oh my God.
I have like zero interest in listening to people talk about their issues all day, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Ugh, I think about my therapist and I love her so much. I'm like, you have saved my life. So I am forever in debt of you.
Okay, next question.
Mm-hmm. What?
I know the answer for you.
Okay.
What was their favorite book as a kid? Yours was Harry Potter.
Oh, 100%. Easy. You didn't read books. You liked when I told you the books that I would like retell
liked
the
stories.
Yeah.
I liked the stories, and you're a very good storyteller. But I haven't been diagnosed with this. So like, but I'm like, I think I have like dyslexia. It's really hard for me to read.
Well, Daddy has it.
Does he?
Yeah, he's dyslexic. He reads like he switches the letters in every word. Well, not every word, but a lot of them.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty sure it's genetic. I'm not a person.
And I also have like serious ADHD. Like there's times where I'm chilling at home and I'll be watching a movie and then I go on my phone and then I have to go grab my computer and I'm like doing like 10 things at once. And then I'm like, what did I even like want to do in the first place? Mm-hmm. I'm just doing 10 things right now. So it's hard for me to sit down and like read a book unless it's super interesting.
That's why I think audiobooks would be so good for you, Kai.
No, but I want to read. I want to be looking at like a page and reading words, you know?
It's not the book itself, it's the attention.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was going to recommend a Kindle, but it's not even that. It's the fact that you can't like, did you try reading the book I lent you?
I haven't even opened it yet.
Okay, this is the thing I say about reading, and I had a lot of friends who hated reading. Same reason as you. They just didn't have the attention span for it. They just weren't into it, whatever. But I always say, as soon as you get into the story, it's hard to put the book down because you actually get invested into the characters and into the story. And that the book that I lent you, The Paris Apartment, the chapters are like 2 to 3 pages.
That's actually really helpful for me because, for example, The Untethered Soul, I love that book, but some chapters were really long, and it just got to a point where like, because the chapters were just like never ending, because I would give myself a goal every night, like just read 1 or 2 chapters tonight, and then you could put the book down, and then like literally like 35 pages later and I'm like still reading, and it would like get me annoyed because I'm like, okay, like when's the chapter gonna end? I told myself I was just gonna read 2 chapters, and like,
do you ever think about why people feel the need to like finish the chapter? You know what I mean? They're like, oh, I like this book because it has really short chapters, so I feel like I'm getting through it, when at the end of the day you're still reading pages.
It's because you want to finish what you start. to stop in the middle of something.
Yeah. So I think that's why smart of some authors to make their books really short chapters, and every chapter is a different character, because then it's easy to put it down and come back to it.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, next question. What do you do that still drives them totally crazy? I think for you, something that I do that drives you a bit nuts is
Wait, you're answering for me?
Yeah, something that I think about me still drives you crazy.
Okay.
I don't think like drives us crazy though is the right term. Like something that just kind of like annoys us a little bit about each other.
Okay.
I think for you it would be the fact that I complain about certain things, but then like for example, when I'm like, oh, I told this person this and like they gave me like advice that I didn't want, and then like you're like, okay, so like now you know you can't go to that person for advice, and then like
you constantly
I tell
do
you like I went to this person for advice, they made me feel like shit, and then you're like, Kyla, like you need to stop doing that.
That is so self-aware of you and actually so correct. And I was just about to say that I have no idea what you do that annoys me. I wouldn't say that drives me crazy or really annoys me. I'm just kind of like, that's dumb. That's dumb that you keep doing that. Like you're just self-sabotaging now because you know that they make you feel crappy, which understandably so in your situation, it's kind of like, well, I don't want to feel crappy when I talk to this person. So you're trying to give an olive branch type thing. But at the end of the day, like you got to protect your peace.
Yes.
So for things that I do that annoy you, I literally don't know. I think,
to be honest, I don't even really know anymore. Like I was trying to think of it and I was
there's
like,
a lot in the past for sure.
Not anymore.
I think.
Oh, you know what?
I was thinking of one, but then I was.
What?
Maybe the fact that I still can be kind of harsh. Like no BS in a way that is not like. It sounds kind of mean.
I don't know. The older I get, the more I appreciate that.
Oh, okay. So then never mind.
You don't really, I guess. I don't know. I don't find you. That's not something that like really annoys me about you.
I think in the past it was that I would do that without validating the person's feelings either. So it'd be like, you're just an idiot. Like grow up, which was like,
oh my
mean.
God, that's hilarious though.
But it's like now,
I'm kind of like that now.
But now I don't do that. Now I'm like, you know what? That's actually really hard. I'm really sorry. Maybe don't talk to that person anymore because they're not going to make you feel good, but like I'm sorry you feel that way. Like that's my approach now, whereas in the past I'd be like, just stop talking to that person, you're just being stupid.
Oh, you know what you do that kind of annoys me?
What?
I thought of it. When we're one-on-one, you're like super good, but then like the second we're around a group of people, sometimes I can tell you get a little bit socially awkward, and then you'll make a comment to like kind of throw a jab at me.
I still do that?
Yeah.
Oh god dang it. I was trying that was one of the things you used to tell me in the past that you didn't like that I did. Oh, I felt like I got better at that.
No, you got so much better at it.
Okay.
But like you said something recently, and in my head I was like, why does she have to give me as an example?
Yeah.
But I knew that I didn't take it personal. I was just like, I think she's just feeling uncomfortable right now. Like you feel a little bit awkward. Like maybe, I understand because I understand you. Mm-hmm. And I didn't really like, in the moment I was like, why did you have to give me as an example? But at the same time I was like, I don't really care. Like afterwards when we left my condo, I was like not even thinking about it anymore.
What did I say?
You were saying a story to our cousin who was over, and in that story you gave an example of like without trying to give too much information away, but you were giving an example of this one time. You're like, yeah, you know, like I hate when people do that. Like if I vent about my sister, I'm allowed to vent about her, but like then when the person agrees with me and says like, yeah, I don't like when Kyla does that, then I get defensive over her, and I'm like literally sitting right there, and I'm like, you just had to give me as the example.
Oh dang it. Well, I do have to say I don't vent about you anymore.
Yeah,
it's been a long time.
But also, even if you did, that doesn't bother me.
Yeah, but yeah,
that's not the point.
Yeah, it's the fact that I like gave you as an example, and you're right there. Totally understandable. But I do want to let you know that there is very little things you do that annoy me now. I feel like we have come such a long way in our relationship.
Yeah, for real.
Oh, that reminds me. Someone actually said, because I was like, what should we call our listeners or like our viewers or whatever?
Oh, yeah.
Someone commented saying this sisterhood.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, isn't that so cute? They're like, we should be called the sisterhood.
Oh my God, I love that.
Yeah. I was like, so these are our viewers are the sisterhood. We're the sisterhood.
Wait, I freaking love that.
I know. I love it so much.
It reminds me of the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. And that movie makes me feel so nostalgic and happy.
I know.
So then I hear that and it makes me feel so good.
I saw that instantly. I was like, yes, that's what you guys are. Yeah. So we are the sisterhood, and that's the new saying. So
I love
we're talking
that.
to the sisterhood.
Whoever thought of that, thank you.
I know, seriously.
Okay.
Also, I just want to say quickly too, this goes along with best friends as well. I think not just sisters. I think best friends can also be like sisters. We just have a bit of a different thing because we like grew up living in the same house, but it's very normal for sisters or best friends to like disagree and to like do that stuff.
Yeah, we have like a whole podcast episode.
I think it's so funny when I'm listening to a podcast and people like kind of disagree with each other or kind of give each other shit. I think it's funny. And I was just thinking now too, I'm like, okay, so should I say something? Because I said I wasn't going to do disclaimers. I said I wasn't going to blah, blah. There's not a disclaimer. I'm just saying that like it is.
You love it.
We love each other like no other. I would literally jump in front of a train for her. So if we ever in the future disagree or have an argument, it's with love always.
Was that like a... Didn't you say one time you're like, we have to try not to argue as much in the podcast because people were saying we argue too much?
So this is also the thing. People would go and rate our podcast 1 star because they argue too much. And I'm like, do we? And I was like, really?
I don't think we do. I think we're funny.
I think we're funny.
I don't know. I like that. Like if I was listening to a podcast with 2 sisters that were like kind of bickering, like I think it's funny. Yeah, and it's also like...
People that comment that don't have siblings. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're an only child.
And you have no friends. No friends. Sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. Okay. What's their go-to comfort food?
Okay. For you, McDonald's.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you like, do you want to go like a little bit more specific?
Okay. Well, based off of your last McDonald's order, I feel like I don't know you at all because you ordered like the most random thing, but it was like a random breakfast sandwich.
Yeah, that was like just a real like out of character for me.
Yeah, it was nighttime. You're like, I really feel like having McDonald's. I'm gonna order a random BLT with egg.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
At night. I'm sorry. I was like, what? Like, here I am ordering and I got like 2 of them, a cheeseburger.
And I had to get barbecue sauce because I was like, I need to dip it in barbecue sauce mixed with the mayo. And like, I don't know. I was having a weird PMS month. And I was like, I'm freaking craving this right now. It's like, that's exactly what I want. And I devoured it. I got 2 of them. Okay. So what's my specific McDonald's order?
Normal?
Yeah.
You know, chicken nuggets.
Yeah.
Okay. Junior chicken.
Yes.
100%. I don't know what else you get.
Junior chicken with like chicken nuggets.
Oh, okay. So there you go.
And a large fry.
And a Diet Coke.
Yeah.
Always.
Yours is your comfort food.
It's not McDonald's.
It's not McDonald's.
I do like McDonald's.
You like to snack because you get sick of the taste of things really quickly. Yeah. So like Doritos or Miss Vicky's or both with chocolate, more specifically, what's it called? That like milk chocolate that's
Dairy milk,
or M&Ms, which is kind of like dairy milk. And then you also
wait, why are M&Ms kind of like dairy milk?
The chocolate in the M&Ms.
It's Hershey's.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's like the worst chocolate. I don't
like Hershey's chocolate.
I don't like M&Ms.
What? I feel like I always see you eating M&Ms.
I liked M&M peanuts, but like in trail mix is fine. But I would never just like get M&M. Maybe the peanut M&M. Maybe the peanut butter M&Ms.
That's what I was thinking. Like, you know, when you go to the movie theater.
Yeah. I think that's very wrong.
Oh shit.
I don't really love Doritos.
You were so patient listening to me list all these things, like smiling, and then you're like, no.
Okay, no, but she is accurate in the fact that I like to snack. I like to pick at things. That's why I love tapas, because like tapas. Alex. It's just it's funny because every time I say it, I think of someone tapping my ass. That's hilarious. Wow. So I definitely like to pick at things, but I think comfort food to me isn't snacking. Like I definitely love snacks and I think it's fun like at night or something on the weekends to have chips and chocolate. I definitely love that. But my comfort food for sure would have to be like mama's cooking. like our grandma's cooking. That's such comfort food for me. Like a good soup, a good hearty soup or French onion soup, you know, with the cheese.
No, you know what I've been craving?
What?
Mama's fried chicken.
Oh, like when she's like,
oh my God.
Yeah.
We need to have a night where we go to mom and dad's when
you
Mama's
like
back
chicken.
home.
You really like chicken.
Fucking love chicken.
I could tell. Your McDonald's order is all chicken. Now you're craving
Love
chicken. Chicken
like,
wings.
Chicken wings. But like the chicken has to be like, it either has to be
Moist.
like, if it's not breaded chicken, then it needs to be like very moist with like a lot of sauce, you know?
Not dry.
I don't like dry chicken.
No. Who likes dry chicken?
I mean, those like bodybuilders.
Yeah. As little liquid as possible.
Okay, I have a question like that's on here, but I'm like, maybe we shouldn't ask it. Let me ask it and then we'll decide together.
Okay.
What do they always disagree with your parents about?
Huh?
Like, what do I disagree on with mom and dad the most? And same for you.
I don't even know what I would disagree with.
I feel like we're just like really rude sometimes for no reason.
Yeah, it's equal. We're both really rude to mom and dad.
Yeah, and like
we're mean.
Yeah.
We're bitches.
We're bitches.
Oh, you know what? No, that's not true. We're queens and we run the fucking world. So.
No, we're trying to be nicer. I just like have no patience sometimes and I'm very like,
okay, in all honesty, like we do love our parents so much and we do treat them with the utmost respect, but there are times where we're so mean and I don't know why.
I blame you for that.
Okay, thanks.
I'm just kidding.
I'll take full accountability.
No, I'm totally kidding. I'm totally kidding. No, but mom and dad are the best. Let's keep this in, and I just want to make it clear that mom and dad, I love y'all.
What a suck up.
Okay.
Mom listens. Do you know she listens to every podcast on every app and then watches the YouTube video?
Yep.
And she also every time we do anything sponsored, she purchases from them.
I know.
I love her so much.
I know.
She's our biggest fan.
I was watching a video. I started crying because I was like, one day we're not going to have mom.
Stop. Why are you turning this into something sad? No, like literally stop. Kyla, you know what? No. Wait, what? Can I say it? I saw this thing. This is so out of context, by the way. It just popped into my head because it was one of the things I wanted to speak about before, but I just like was rambling for so long. There is this TikTok that someone shared to their story. I forget who it was. And it was a guy saying like, you know, I went to see a therapist because I was just really tired of my life being like the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. And I was like, it's just so tiring to be up and then down. And like,
you sent this to me.
I did?
Yeah.
Okay. Isn't it
really good? No, but explain.
Yeah. And he was saying that like, I just wanted to be like even, like leveled out. And then the therapist looked at him and said, think of it like a heartbeat. When you see it on the monitor, it goes up and down, up and down. What happens when it's leveled out? You flatline, you die. So like life is the same thing. You don't want it to be flatlined. You want
also,
to have
that's
ups
boring.
and downs.
That's boring. It's a boring life.
I know it has nothing to do with what we were just talking about at all in any way, shape, or form. But I just wanted to throw that in because it popped into my head.
Yeah, it's very true.
Little dose of inspiration.
Well, the next one is more a question for you.
Okay.
I mean, I already know the answer for you. Do they want to get married and have kids or a family?
Yes.
To what?
You.
For which one?
Like you want to get married and have kids and have a family.
Yeah.
I know you do.
I was trying to make you
I don't want to get married or have kids.
Oh my God, really? Then why did you do it?
Just kidding. Love you, Arky.
Arky, I have a special connection with him. We're spiritually connected.
He is obsessed with it. Also, he does Mooney.
I know. So first of all, he zones out and I have an issue with zoning out. He does Mooney and my friend gave me like a Sagittarius crystal to go with like another crystal that I keep on my window ledge like that. So like when the sun shines in, it kind of activates this like Sagittarius energy. Mm-hmm. Anyways, all that to say, Arky came over into my condo one time and he loves my Sagittarius rock and he calls it Chachi rock because he used to not be able to say my name properly. Now he says Kaina, but it used to be Chachi. He's obsessed with it. He's obsessed with it. And I bought him a monkey stuffed animal. He has so many toys, but he only sleeps with that monkey stuffed animal. So I'm just saying we have a connection. he's a Taurus. So I'm going to do some research on Tauruses. They're earth signs. They're very humble, down to earth.
I heard they're stubborn, and he's definitely a bit on the stubborn side.
He's definitely stubborn.
But I want to know,
like, in a good way.
I need to know like his rising and everything. I need to look that up because I know obviously when
my
he was
psychic
born.
told me that he's going to be a really, really, really smart kid, like smarter
smart.
than like anyone else his age, and he's going to be a leader.
I
So he's
believe
going to have a
that.
hard time being told what to do and following orders, but
lovely.
it's because he's going to know better.
Lovely, just like Dan. Joy.
But like, it's a good thing.
Okay, so this is the thing. Not to just like, well, humble brag, okay? He knows every planet, every fact about every planet, the order that they're in from the sun. He knows about their atmospheres, their moons, the names of the moons, whether or not they have gravity or not. Literally every fact about the solar system and also volcanoes. He's obsessed. It's so funny how much he knows. And the other day he went to go get his vaccine and Dan was sitting with him and he was like looking at the stickers and he was talking about planets, and the nurse looked at him and she was like, how old is your son? He was like, he's gonna be 3 in May. She's like, he's only 2.5. Dan's like, yeah. She's like, that he's really smart.
Okay,
like, okay,
did my psychic not call it?
She did, but she also was very wrong on something else.
You don't know what else she was wrong about just because it hasn't happened yet.
No, she said 2020. She didn't predict COVID. Sorry.
Well, yeah, because I also told her don't tell me anything negative.
Except for
But that was the second session.
Okay.
But also, okay, keep in mind though, like
I'm
people,
just being a brat.
think of it though. People wouldn't want to continuously go back and see psychics if they have everything bad to say that's going to happen.
Yeah. I'm just
There's
being a
no
brat, by the
reason to
way.
then for the people to come back, right?
No.
So you have to be like selective with what you say.
Okay, next.
Yeah.
Next question.
If you guys could take a sibling trip, no parents, no kids, no spouses, where would we want to go?
Do I answer for you and you answer
Yeah.
for me? Anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
For any reason.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to say yours just based off of the last thing you said where you wanted to go together, but I feel like that's not your like dream place to go.
There's a reason why I would want to go to that specific location.
But it's not your dream place.
It's not like the dream place that I want to go to with you.
Okay, the dream place I feel like would be somewhere really relaxing where we could just zen out, somewhere near a beach where there could be like some kind of a spa, but also like not in the middle of nowhere because like anxiety. Like we don't want to be stranded with no hospital nearby, but need our Ativan.
Don't say too much. You're gonna be like, what's wrong with these girls?
Nothing. We just have anxiety.
I really have to pee.
You got hold of girl. No, go
Oh my
pee.
god. No. Let's answer this one first, then I'm gonna go pee really quick.
Okay. Oh gosh, I don't know. Like Maldives. That's
Oh my god.
That's literally far from a hospital though.
No,
but
you're right.
am I actually?
Like the Maldives are like Turks and Caicos, like that type of vibe, or super random, but Dubai.
That is so random.
Yeah.
I would have never
Two
thought.
completely different like atmospheres, but
We were supposed to go to
both
Dubai
of them-
once.
Yeah. Both of them though are like two places that I've always wanted to go to, and like the person that I want to go to is like go there with is you.
Interesting.
Because I feel like we're really good at like we're really good at relaxing.
Are we?
Yeah. Like we can both just like chill and like relax and like take in like the view, and like we just like, you know, sit in the sun, enjoy like the peace and quiet. Like we're very much on the same wavelength with that kind of stuff, but then we're also like we like to experience the area that we're in as well, you know? So like we'll go out, we want to try different restaurants, do different like excursions and stuff. So like, and I feel like a place that's super relaxing like the Maldives, if you're with someone who's very like restless and always has to be doing something and like can't just like sit down and relax, it could be a little bit
Yeah, I
frustrating,
totally
I
get
guess.
that.
I don't know, I feel like we're good when it
Yeah.
comes to like our moods on like when we want to relax and when we want to go out and like do things.
Okay, so then what is your answer for me? Because I know
Do
where
you
I
have a
would.
place?
I do have a place,
And it's specifically where you want to go with me.
I mean, I'd go here with anyone, but I also would have a good time being there with you. I have a feeling,
Okay.
but I actually don't. No, I know you would enjoy yourself in this place.
I would.
Yeah.
Ireland.
Oh, I would love to go there with you, but no, that's not my answer.
Is it in Europe?
I've never been before.
You've never been.
I've never been. It's one of the top of my bucket list.
But you're thinking of a country?
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh.
It's
Is
like
it in Europe?
no. It's like pretty much at the top of my bucket list. I've been wanting to go here since I was a child.
Is it Thailand?
No, but you're getting closer.
I'm getting closer.
Closer than Europe, that's for sure.
Russia?
No. Oh my God. Do you want me to say?
Yeah.
Tokyo.
Oh.
I want to go to Japan, first of all, to Japan, but Tokyo and Kyoto. And well, Kyoto, I think would be really fun because definitely it's like the older, like.
I'm kind of scared to go to Japan. Like,
really?
I want to go and I'm going to do it one day, but like it kind of scares me.
Because it's so far, but you did New Zealand.
No, it's not because it's so far. It's like, it's so different. I've never been to Asia, first of all. And like Japan is
Kyla, you
fucking
went to China.
crowded.
You literally went to China.
I had a layover there. I never left the airport.
Oh, I didn't know you didn't leave the airport. I thought you did.
Yeah, no. And like the airport was empty too. So it's not, I really did not experience China.
No. I thought for some reason I thought you had like a day layover there.
No. We were just there for, well, our plane, we had a layover there for like 8 hours, but we were just in the fucking airport.
My toxic trait is like, oh, I had a layover in Germany, so I've been to Germany, even though I didn't leave the airport. I've been to Germany. I landed on the soil there.
I was technically in Germany.
I was in Frankfurt, okay?
It's like I had a layover one time in, where's the airport from like the Home Alone movie?
Chicago.
O'Hare. And so people are like, have you ever been to Chicago? I'm like, yeah.
But no, never been to China.
Yeah. No, but
like I want to go to Japan in general, and there's so many like relaxing things to do there.
I don't like big crowds of people.
Yes, but it's not like everyone's so respectful there. Like the culture there is just very much about respect.
I heard
like,
Singapore
oh my
is
God,
like the cleanest, nicest place.
My friend went there and he said, first of all, you're going to feel so poor when you go because it's such a rich place.
Oh my
You feel
God.
so poor, but it's incredible and I definitely want to go. But Japan has been at the top of my list. Tokyo, but Kyoto as well. Like and there's like other places in Japan I want to go, but I've been wanting to go for years. So, okay, well maybe I won't bring you then since you have no interest.
No. Honestly, if you one day were like, Kyla, do you want to plan a trip to Japan? I'm 1000% coming. Like,
Okay.
I'll make it happen.
Okay. I just don't want to go if you're
I'm not
scared.
No, it's not scared to the point. Like, I would be scared to go to North Korea.
Okay, well, Kyla, like...
like, there's certain places I would just never go to. But Japan, I would go to. Getting out of my comfort zone. Should I cut that out?
No, this is the freaking year of like we're allowed to say what we want to say.
Yeah. Good point.
And we don't care what people think because literally you are chiming in our sister talk right now.
Okay. Are they book smart or street smart? You're both.
Oh, thank you for the compliment. Oh my goodness.
More book smart than street smart?
Really?
Yeah.
You think I'm book smart?
Yeah.
You should tell Dan.
You're very book smart. Like, you know about things. Like,
actually, I feel like
Dan
would
is
agree
just
with you.
not a normal person though.
Dan
like,
is
he's
so smart.
Another level.
It's really frustrating because he not only is he's book smart and street smart, but he has like this. I always say he's a photographic memory. He's like, no, I don't, Alex. Like, it's not legit the definition. But like, if he reads something or hears something once, he remembers it forever. Like sometimes he'll know random facts about things, the most random thing. I'm like, how do you know that? He's like, we learned that in school in like grade 6. I'm like, I don't remember that at all. He remembers like dates to everything, like from history. I'm like, you are so, it's really annoying. It's hard to argue with someone like that because I'll be like, you did this and that. And he's like, well, you did. And I'm like, thanks for invalidating me.
Yeah. Also, we're pretty bad at like remembering like exactly what someone said.
I'm like, I don't know exactly what you did, but I remember
the way it made me feel.
Exactly.
Okay, so yeah.
For you, I think you're a bit of both as well. Definitely more of the street smart though, because you're super good at like common sense things and like just general topics that like you wouldn't even necessarily learn in school or through a book. You just like are aware, which is really nice.
Yes. Are they competitive or are they the type of person who's always supporting others? You're always supporting others. You're so not competitive.
I literally do not have a competitive bone in my body, and I think it really bothered Mom.
Yeah, because Mom's very competitive.
So competitive. Yeah. I think you're a bit of both, honestly. I think you're competitive in certain aspects of your life that are good to be competitive for. Mm-hmm. But like other aspects, you just like don't care.
Yeah.
You know, like certain things you're almost like competitive with yourself.
Yeah, I'm more competitive with myself. When I was younger and like in sports, I was very competitive. Like I needed to win. And then now I'm more competitive with myself, where it's like I want to make sure that I do a really good job, or like just competitive with myself, I would say.
I also feel like that's why I don't compare as much. Like I still have a habit of doing it, like every single person does when you're comparing your life to someone else's online, but I've never felt like I have to be like that person.
Yeah.
Or like do better than them.
Yeah.
In order,
it's like you're just comfortable.
Yeah, like I just don't care. And I remember even when we were swimming, Mom like one time was like, "Don't you care about like winning, like beating that person?" And I was like, "No." She's like, "But," because she didn't like get it. She was like, "Well, how come?" And I was like, "I don't know. I just don't care." I just didn't. And Dan is the opposite. He's so competitive, and like him and his best friend are very competitive people, so they almost have
a really ugly face for a second because I forgot we were being recorded.
Oh, that's actually a good thing if you forget we're recording.
Yeah, Dan's really competitive.
Like, oh my god, so competitive. And so it's like they almost have to like not do certain activities because they're like, I know that if I do this, like I'm gonna be way too competitive. It's gonna take away the fun from it. And I'm like, you know, sometimes it's actually a really good thing to be competitive in certain situations, but I think sometimes it's like a thief in some ways because it takes away the fun.
It could be really toxic.
Yes.
If you're getting competitive with people that are in your life, like in your inner circle, that's bad. If you're competitive with like just like people in your life, it could be really bad.
But I do want to stress that it's also very natural feeling to feel, because as human beings, like it's in us throughout like history and time to be competitive, to be able to survive. So it's a very
survival of the fittest.
Yeah, it's a very natural feeling to feel. It's not like maybe I would have been competitive back then. You know, there's a lot of things I would not have survived. Did we talk about this on the podcast? Where I was like, Dan, like, would you ever go on Survivor with me? And he was like,
I think we have spoke about this on the podcast.
And I was like, he was like, there's no way you would.
Can we make what's it called? Like a voting poll for like Dan going on Survivor in like the near future?
Oh, I did do that on my stories.
Yeah.
Everyone freaked out. They said he would be amazing and they would watch 100%.
I would watch. He needs to do it.
I keep telling him and he's like, 40 days no food, no thanks. I'm like, so you think
he's just finding excuses not to go on. There's something at the very there's a reason why he doesn't want to do it, and it's not because of food.
He also knows that he's the kind of person that he gets really frustrated with people that like, let's say, don't help out or don't. They're just like weenies, he calls them. And I don't mean that to sound rude. It's just like, he's like, it's people that like are annoying, like they don't help the tribe.
No, but that's not the reason why he's not going on.
But he said that like he would have a hard time not getting angry at them.
Well,
or like
control yourself.
But also like in team sports, because he's so competitive. If there's one person that's doing something really wrong and he doesn't get immunity,
but
if
you're smart competitive,
vote him out.
If you're smart competive, you're gonna know how to fucking manipulate situations to work in your favor.
I mean, maybe.
And Daniel's smart.
But sometimes, Kyla, I watch like I've been binging Survivor since I was like for years now, but we're in a phase of binging it again. And there's some people that win that I'm like, you don't deserve to win. Like, I'm sorry. There are some people that were way better players than you and they got voted out because they're like too much of a threat.
That's the joy of Survivor, right? Like, you never know who's gonna win. Like,
remember the David guy that I was showing you?
He's hilarious.
I love him. But like the
guy that I said he reminds me of.
Oh my god, it's so funny.
Okay, I just have 2 questions left.
Okay. So
the first one, if you're the older sibling, does your younger sibling feel like they're always trying to fill your shoes, or they always or have they always known they wanted to be doing something different?
Do I answer?
Yeah.
I think there are aspects that you kind of followed suit in just because it was available or comfortable. But a lot of your life has been trying to steer away from being my sister, if that makes sense. Like, you wanted to be your own person. Yeah. You know how they always say twins, like, they don't have their own identity? Yeah. They have, like, identity crisis or whatever because their whole lives they've been, like, dressed the same or do everything the same. Although we weren't twins, we are very close and did a lot of things together. And I think that because I was the older sibling and I would do everything first, when we were children, Mom would just kind of, like, put you in the same thing as me because you were like, well, Alex does this, so Kyla might as well do it. And, like like let's say swimming, for example, you just did not like it. And you ended up quitting a lot younger than I did because it was just not in the cards for you. You just like didn't like doing it. And I think it's the same thing in life too. Like you started social media when I did it because you're like, well, almost like I almost forced you into it at the beginning. I was like, you should do it. I'll take pictures of you. No,
with social media, it was definitely more like, oh, I've always been interested in modeling. Like I genuinely liked it. It was more like in the later years with the whole influencing thing. I was like, well, I'll do it because it's like easy for me because I was able to grow an audience through you. And also, like, you know, like I put in my own work and stuff. But like, yeah, I know what you mean.
But I definitely think like you always wanted to be known as like your own person. You're not just my sister. Like you're your own individual. You have your own interests. You're completely different in a lot of ways. And I actually really value that.
Yep. You're right. Okay. If you're the younger sibling, does your older sibling feel like they need to be guiding you every step of the way, or do they take a more hands-off approach? I think that when you were younger, you were definitely more the type to try to control me, but like for your own selfish reasons.
Lovely.
But now you try to guide me in a way that's like not overbearing. You're like a good older sister where it's like you're trying to guide me, but like with a kind of hands-off approach, if that makes sense. Like you respect my boundaries, but like you're still trying to like help me navigate through whatever it is that I'm going through, and like you give me a very like different perspective on things, and like it's good.
I think for sure I feel like I don't intentionally do like a hands-off approach. I think that through our past of like me kind of always getting my way with you and like wanting certain things and whatever, knowing that that is so unhealthy and like rude and not nice at all. And I guess kind of like an older sister syndrome. But I also know that as adults, age, like we're basically the same now.
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah, we're in two different aspects of life, but we could have the same friends. Like we could do the same things. We're 2 years apart. Like there's really not much of a difference when you get to be the age that we are. So I don't even think I like have that older sister thing, maybe a little bit like deep down, but I think you have it a lot towards me too.
Like an older sister, like protective.
Yeah.
Kind of?
Like there are certain situations where you almost act like my older sister.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think we kind of go back and forth in a lot of ways. So I feel like we're pretty leveled out now, which is nice. We're kind of like, and I used to see that too with when we were kids, we look at our aunts and uncles.
Yeah.
In my mind, they're all the same age.
Yeah, exactly.
They're all
It's
equal.
true because when you're younger, 2 years can make the biggest difference in terms of maturity and interests. Whereas like you just get to a certain age and it's like, even if you're like 4 years or 5 years, 6 years apart from someone, everyone's like at the same level of maturity.
Yeah. And I was actually talking about this with my best friend because I forget that topic we had started talking about, but I was like, oh my God, no wonder I was like so immature when I was younger. And she's like, well, me too. I was immature. And I was like, really? Were you? She's like, yeah, I was super like mentally immature. That's why I always had younger friends. I was like, oh my God, same. So it's pretty cool actually to talk about that. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. It was a bit of a longer one. I guess you guys are liking these longer episodes.
I like longer episodes.
It's nice too. I always listen to podcasts when I'm driving or like going on a walk or something, or even like doing laundry or whatever, or errands. I like to listen to a podcast, especially if it's like feel good or funny or whatever.
Yeah.
We do have some fun episodes planned, so make sure you're following us on Instagram if you want to write in. We definitely like always have submissions that you can do there. And if you want to be really nice and rate us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. On Apple Podcasts, if you leave us a review, it's super helpful. So that would be really appreciated. And we love you guys so much. And we'll talk to you next week.
Everyone have a lovely day.
Bye.